Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. National shockwave as plane conveying body of former Ondo State Governor Olusegun Agagu crashes in Lagos with some of his family members on board. National Human Rights Commission promises to make public new facts uncovered about the killing of the Akure-9 in Abuja. Our big story tonight examines the Employees Compensation Act, yet to be fully implemented 2 years before being signed into law, and at least 130 African migrants die after Europe-bound boat sinks off the Italian island of Lampedusa. Now, all our top stories, including our lead story on that plane crash today, can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. To get us on the go, log on to m.channelstv.com to view us live on an iPad, iPhone or BlackBerry. And you can also download the Channels TV app for Android and Nokia 920 from their respective stores. Now, you can also interact with our Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android and Windows 8 platforms. If you have a picture or video to share with us, all you need to do is download the Channels TV Android application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions to share your reports, your pictures, and videos. Now, reports just reaching us say that the burial of the former Governor Olusegun Agagu will take place tomorrow in his hometown in the state. The chairman of the PDP in the state told journalists in Akure this evening that the burial will be low-key and that the party and the family has decided to go ahead with it. In the meantime, the body, it is said, will be taken by road tomorrow. Now, today's crash did come as a shock for everyone, and our next report takes a look at some of the features of the aircraft, which was originally developed in Brazil and launched into the aviation industry in the 1970s.
The Embraer 120 aircraft originates from the Latin American nation of Brazil. The aircraft has proven to be popular, relatively high speed, yet comparatively inexpensive to operate. Embraer first began design work on a new turboprop airliner in the 1970s when the company stretched its EMB 121 Shingle corporate turboprop to a 25-seat airliner. Design of the definitive EMB 120 began in September 1979, and the first flight of a PW115 powered prototype plane took place on July 27, 1983, while entry into service was in October of 1985. The aircraft has a wingspan of 19.78 meters, its length stands at 20 meters, a height of 6.35 meters, and a wing area of 39.4 meters. In terms of capacity, the Embraer 120 has space for a flight crew of 2, standard main cabin seating for 30 at 3 abreast and 79 centimeters pitch. It also has optional passenger seating for 24 or 26 with greater baggage and cargo space, as well as an alternative interior arrangement for executive and cargo roles. The current production model is the 120ER Advanced, which incorporates a range of external and interior improvements.
Well, no doubt, this tragic accident has thrown Ondo State and indeed the nation into mourning. But what exactly was the state of this aircraft before it took off? When last was it used or serviced? And what are the findings so far after the crash? To discuss this, I'm now being joined on the News at 10 by the Commissioner in charge of the Accident Investigation and Prevention Bureau, Captain Mukhtar Usman. Welcome, Captain, and thank you for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you. And
well, no doubt it is really a very tragic day, and you were there in person. It's very tragic, isn't it? What did you experience?
Certainly, it's one of the darkest days of my life. It's not what we actually need at this time, but accidents do happen. That's why we're there to investigate and ensure that we learn lessons to prevent such accidents from happening in the future.
Yeah. There's so many accounts of what actually happened, but you tell us, since you're in charge of the investigation, did it actually take off? That's the plane, and did it take off and then crash? What happened?
Well, actually, the aircraft was bound for Akure. It took off. After takeoff, the aircraft went down. It's too early now to start speculating what happened, because in accident investigation, we don't speculate. We actually try to determine based on facts, and then make safety recommendations to prevent future occurrences of similar accidents. So at this stage, we are collecting data, facts. We have recovered the flight recorders that will assist us greatly in determining the cause. They appear to be in good order, but we are yet to determine that, but they appear to be in good order.
In terms of the figures that were coming out when it all happened, there was, so much speculation who was dead and who survived, who is injured. For now, let me just tell you what we have from FAN. We have that 13 people were killed, 7 survived. Of one of the survivors, 1 person is in a coma. Is this correct?
Well, as I said, we don't speculate. Currently, as I'm talking to you, we have people that have gone to various hospitals. Because when this thing happened, victims were taken to various hospitals. So we are still collating to ascertain, because we want to give you whatever figures that come from us will be authentic. And that will happen very soon. We'll be able to give you the exact figures. But
the figures that we have are not actually a speculation. They were actually given to us by the General Manager, Corporate Communications of FAN. This is the figure he has. And what we're asking is, as one being in charge of it, can you confirm the numbers that he's giving us?
Well, as I said, we still have to ascertain. We are carrying out the accident investigation. We are not disputing the figures that have been given. But what we are saying from our own part as accident investigation body, we have to ascertain. And we are in the process of doing that. And we don't release such information until the families, out of respect for the families, they have to be informed before such information is released.
We're mindful of the fact that, indeed, some families are trying to come to terms with what has happened. Some have not even been informed, like you said. So we're being careful what we say tonight, being that some of them could be watching. But we do have that manifest, and we don't know some of the names that we've seen on the list, whether there's anything you can tell us in terms of who was on board, who is involved, etc. Because social media being what it is, has all sorts of names bandied out there. What can you tell us?
Well, again, I would still say, we'll still call it speculation, and we don't get involved. Actually, the airlines, after thorough verification and information to the various family members, will release the names of the victims. And we are working closely with the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority and the airlines also, and all other stakeholders, to ensure that that happens within the shortest possible time.
Okay. One thing I'd like to draw your attention to was the drama you saw in the visuals there during the rescue, in terms of how bodies should be moved and what the procedure should be. And we seem to find that over the years, each time there's an accident, there's always the complaint of, we couldn't control the crowd, we couldn't put up a cordon, we don't have equipment, and we hope to be learning from our mistakes, and we still see the same issues go on when accidents happen. Are we not moving forward?
Well, in a way, I would say we are moving forward. Because if you remember what happened last year in the case of Dana, and this happens almost everywhere where an aircraft goes down in a public place like that, inside a city where there are so many people, it's always very difficult to control crowd. Because normally the first responder is not the security man or whoever is going to secure the site. There are people, and people are not even mindful of the dangers associated with crash site.
There's a lot of people have iPads and they're trying to take pictures.
Yeah, because there are so many unexpired, maybe cartridges, pressurized containers that can be harmful to people. And such things people should run away from. People should only go there for the purpose of helping out, rescue. Other people go with the intention of doing other things, which shouldn't be so at all. It should be for the purpose of assisting and also informing the relevant authorities.
In terms of the sort of equipment that we saw being used, a lot of the time there's the complaint of we don't have the right equipment to move either the wreckage or to get bodies out year after year, accident after accident, the same complaint. Are you happy with the state of, will I say, funding for the equipment that you use, and how are you managing with it? Obviously, it is a problem.
Well, what I can say is that no accident investigation body will have unlimited resources. It will be very, very difficult to buy all those heavy equipment and keep in one place. And if you look at Nigeria, how big it is, if you have to buy and keep, to even move them again is another problem to respond. So what we have been doing is going into MOUs, as Memorandum of Understanding, with some heavy construction companies, so that when things like that happen, we'll be able to tap into their resources and bail us out of the problem.
Okay, something's just, some news is just coming into me right now. We're hearing at the moment that the Chief Executive Officer of Associated Airlines, that's the airline that is involved, is about now briefing on the manifest, and we have a bit of information on that manifest. If I can just see that so that we can talk about it. He talked about some of the survivors of the crash and some of the victims. As you can see, some of the names there we have are Agagufeyi, under the survivors, Akintude Taiwo, Akintude Akim. And again, we're just trying to be careful, knowing that some of the family members might not be informed. Akinsoya Femi and one unknown male. And that should confirm the number of survivors that he's speaking about at the moment. And in terms of the victims, we have Tunji Okunsoya, Chijoke Duro, Kingsley Amechi, Deji Afolabi, Mrs. E.O. Alabi, Daji Bernard, Deji Falaye, Samson Hassan, and Olatunji Okunsoya. This is just some of the stuff that is coming in from that particular CEO. And just to look at some of the crew members, Captain Yakubu, Flight Officer Oyinola, and so on, Mr. Felix Tatoye, Cabin Attendant Owolabi, and Cabin Attendant Samson. So truly, truly very tragic. And what do you have to say about a specific speculation as well, that even though there were 20 people on board, some other people could have come on board, seeing as it was a chartered flight?
Well, actually, if you remember, not quite long ago, the aviation authorities in Nigeria introduced the issue of private jets and so on declaring their manifest. In fact, the reason why we declare the manifest, and especially when you are asking for air traffic control clearance, is to know, in a situation like this, how many people are you planning to remove or rescue out of an aircraft or to recover, as the case may be. That is why we ask for what they call souls on board when you're contacting the air traffic control. So I have no doubt in my mind that the figure given is actually what it is.
20.
20, I believe so. We don't have any reason to doubt the number given. But of course, if there are other ways we are able to find out, who will actually say it.
Thank you very much, Captain.
Yeah.
A long day for you, as I can see, and we do hope that indeed the investigation is carried out and we learn from the lessons of the past and the present. Well, I've been speaking with the Commissioner in charge of the Accident Investigation and Prevention Bureau, Captain Mukhtar Usman. We've been discussing the unfortunate and the tragic crash that happened in Lagos today. Now, when the news at 10 returns, the federal government asks players in the public and private sectors to be optimistic about Nigeria's economic growth. That will be on Business News. The Johnson.